Hello.
Oh, I got this. Okay. All right, so it's 2023, and I just barely, as of yesterday, have my first 5-star book of the year.
Nice.
Him, on the other hand,
Hey, I've had a few 5-star books so far this year.
so many 5-star books this year.
Here's the thing. You give 5 stars to everything. I don't give 5 stars to very many things at all.
So we swapped roles, is what you're saying?
Yes.
Because maybe I'm stingier with my stars.
I don't believe so. How many books have you given 2 stars to?
Oh, a good handful.
I don't believe it.
I have a good handful of 2-star books.
Like 3?
Possibly that one is a 2-star book for me.
Okay, but what is it really in Goodreads right now?
I didn't rate it because I want to wait for book club. I don't want to wait other
Makes
people's
sense.
opinions.
All right, so what we're going to talk about today is what makes a book a 5-star book.
Yeah.
Right? What just puts it over the top of this is an excellent, excellent book. And how do you know just right off the bat this is a 5-star book?
Well, you don't know right off the bat. You know at the end.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
you close
know
the book
at the end and you're like,
okay,
that's 5 stars.
Okay.
Right? It's not one of those where it's like, well, that was really good.
Yeah.
But just like, that was phenomenal.
Yeah. Okay. I think my number one thing is, would I recommend this book to anybody?
That is a great, great indicator.
Because there's a lot of people who wouldn't appreciate it for what it is, or a lot of people who maybe it's not their cup of tea.
Yep.
That one's a huge one for me.
I think that's a great one. I think another indicator is, would I reread this book?
Yeah,
right?
It's a great one.
Because I don't reread books very often, and so in order for me to reread it, it really needs to become something that I think is just phenomenally good.
Yes.
So I'm curious, give me an example of a 5-star book in your life.
Anxious People.
Anxious People, okay.
But here's a reason why for that one. That one started out, and I was just kind of really annoyed. All the characters are the same. I was just bugged by it. Mm-hmm. But by the end of the story, you know exactly why they were the way they were, and it all makes sense and it all clicks and it comes together, and it's just like a masterpiece. Like, oh, cool, okay, that worked really well. Mm-hmm. 5 stars, like that, but like the finesse, the perfection of it.
So the technical expertise of the writing matters for you in that type of thing.
Yes. Does it wrap up? I mean, okay, you can't really say that was series. So say, what's the one I finished last night? Fits the first of your trilogy, number 2.
Yeah, so it's the Assassin's Quest, maybe?
Assassin's Apprentice.
Apprentice. That's the first.
No. Yes.
Yes, Assassin's Apprentice is number 1.
What's the second one?
Royal Assassin.
Royal Assassin. Okay, that one is a 5-star book for me. Because it's fast-paced. It doesn't ever really lull, but it works. But it's not the finale, so you can't say it wrapped up well. But you're just ready to read the next one. So that, I don't know, continuation of it?
Sure. I think a quintessential example for me, if we're talking fantasy and 5-star, is Words of Radiance.
Okay.
Right? It's one of those books where I finished and immediately was like, someone needs to read this book. Like, want to hand it to somebody and say, like, you need to read this book. It's something that I've reread multiple times. It's something that I still get excited about thinking and talking about. And more than anything, it's something where I remember where I read. Like, the experience of reading it was so impactful on my brain. I remember where I was reading it.
Yeah.
Right? And there's a few of those that happen. I remember Harry Potter's, right? I remember where I read with those, and those qualify as 5-star books for me. Yes. I remember reading Ready Player One and where I was when I finished the finale of that. I remember Project Hail Mary, which I think is a fairly recent 5-star one for me. I remember one of the, if you watch some of our other videos, we talked about some of the ones read in 2023, and I just finished Promise of Blood, which is in the first book in the Powder Mage series. And I remember that experience of sitting waiting for a TSA interview and finishing that book and being like, this is a 5-star book.
That's awesome.
Right. I can remember a lot of the Otherling series and where I was with those. Right. So it's some of those where I think it is so impactful and so enjoyable that it creates a memory in and of itself.
Yes.
Of that enjoyment. That's a good sign for me, at least, of it being a 5-star book.
Yeah. The Book Thief comes to mind.
Okay.
Just that feeling of like, this is gonna be my favorite book. Like, I haven't maybe had that feeling before. So of course that's a 5-star. And I also remember talking to my dad. It probably was The Great Hunt at that point.
Okay.
Wheel of Time number 2.
Yep.
And I remember telling him, because I had just had my first baby. And so I'm up in the middle of the night just reading on my Kindle, you're up all night long. And I'm like, it's just so good. I just wish there was something like Milk Moses where my son could get all this goodness too. And like wanting to share it with my newborn child. Like just, it's that good.
Milk Moses.
Milk Moses.
I love it. I love it. The other thing that I find that really helps 5-star books,
Yeah.
or get it to the 5-star thing, are when I've invested in a series and it pays off.
Yeah.
Right. So for me, that's a good example of the Wheel of Time, right? The Wheel of Time has a few books in there I would say are 5-star books. But then there's others that I think are more in the 4-star, even down to 3-star range.
Yes.
But it ends with a 5-star
That's happy.
in my view, because of that investment and how it pays off. I would say the Decoding series that I'm in right now, haven't finished the last book, but so far the last couple ones have been 5 stars because the investment that has gone into it is paying off.
Cool.
As we go through it. I think the Sanderson Cosmere in general kind of gets that way of reading other books makes it a richer experience for each additional book that comes out.
Yeah.
And helps that solidify that to be more in 5-star range for some of those books.
I think another huge thing for me is like, was I expecting to love it, or was it kind of like a surprise?
If it's an unexpected thing,
yeah, like it's just you weren't expecting to fall in love with this book. I feel like that was Project Hail Mary for me. That's like a real close contender to my favorite book. I did not expect to love that book. I thought I'd enjoy it because I liked The Martian, but I just was blown away and fell in love with that book.
I wanted to see real quick if I have my books so far this year what got 5 stars.
Like all of your books are 5 stars this year.
Well, I've had some phenomenals. Okay, so I had Deadbeat, which was Dresden. I loved it. I thought it was excellent. One of my favorite Dresden ones was 5 stars. Fool's Quest, that fits in the Fool. That's towards the end of it. Again, it's that investment was 5 stars. There's a bunch that I loved: Under the Whispering Door, Calvin's War, Fate of the Fallen, Effortless, Darker Shade of Magic. Even Fool's Assassin, which is the first of that second series the last series of the Elden Ring series, didn't get it. None of those got 5 stars. Promise of Blood, as I mentioned, got 5 stars. But that's Arcanum Unbounded got 5 stars. That's it for this year.
That's it.
But it is interesting that I've had 2 in a row that I deem as 5-star books.
Yeah.
But so far, so we're almost a fourth of the way through the year, and I have 3 5-star books,
That's insane.
which is a lot for me.
It is a lot for you.
But yeah, I wonder what the next 5-star one. The Black Prism, I really liked the Lightbringer. It's first in the Lightbringer series. That was a 5-star book. Elantris is 5 stars for me.
I love that one.